Hello, Condor, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where I, Mauled normally a yeller and a hater, will politely and lovingly review your commander deck's weird little PP. Your PP is your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. It's what you hope it can achieve. Your practicum is what it actually achieves. The problems in your 99, the problem with your card draw, your ramp, your land count, all that boring stuff. So we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about this deck's idea, whether or not it is achievable in the bracket they want to be in, and then we're going to look at their practicum and see what we can adapt there. So first things first, the idea behind this deck is Jeskai 11th Doctor. I'm going to suspend big things and get to play them for value. I am going to contest this idea. I know it's the place a lot of people go when it comes to suspend, because you're like, oh man, I'm going to get to cheat stuff out. The problem I find with this is the Doctor suspends with time counters equal to mana value, which means if we want to suspend something big, we're telling the table about an impending Eldrazi threat, maybe an impending, 8 mana one-sided board wipe, that many turns in advance. And I know you have Amy Pond, and we're going to try to use Amy Pond to get that stuff out of suspend earlier. You're still going to be giving your opponents multiple turns of heads up unless everything goes right. And in the world where everything goes right, you don't really need advice. We've all had those games where it just everything lines up and you just kind of roll over everybody. I think there's a lot of failure points this idea can have where we're trying to get something like really big and scary lined up, but because we get something really big and scary lined up, we have to reveal it to our opponents and they get a bunch of time to plan around like, okay, well, let's board wipe them. We can't board wipe them. We're all going to swing at them. You have a 3-2 and a 2-2. What are you going to do about it? Eventually, you're going to have to block with Amy Pond, most likely, or you're going to fucking die. Or they just like, okay, well, I'll dig for a counter spell and then I'll counter whatever the suspended thing is. So I don't love the idea. I think the suspend commanders that lend themselves well to suspending really big things are things that have a set number of suspend commanders. So your Joyras, there is another Doctor who I think does it with 3. There is a Simic guy who I think does it with like he might do with equal to mana value, but you can take them off by tapping him, which is like way let me just check. Can you do it by tapping him? His name's Alondo. Yeah, so it's equal to mana value. You can take one off by tapping him, and Simic untap tap is a lot easier than time traveling, because time traveling is basically limited just to Doctor Who stuff. So all we can really do to speed up the threatening stuff is play all the time travel cards, and then we're playing time travel cards, so we're up a creek anyway, because many of these time travel cards are bad, right? They're cards that were already okay, but we've made them worse to pack time travel on, and I don't think the benefit we can get is enough to raise this to bracket 3. And that is what I love. I don't love just playing like stone cold good cards all the time. I love taking a card that's mid, making it great through the power of my gimmick. I don't think this gimmick makes those mid cards great in most situations. What I think you could carve out with this commander is, unfortunately, we're going to Value Town. What sounds most compelling to me about this commander is, okay, I'm going to try to get in with the 11th Doctor. I'm going to suspend a Talisman. Is anybody worried about that? Probably not. They're like, nobody's going to freak out because you're trying to suspend a little bit of ramp. And then on the next turn, Amy Pond can get 2 additional time counters on it. So I think the sweet spot, if we've got both of our commanders unblockable, or we got both of them having flying or something, the sweet spot is stuff that's like 3 mana, maybe 4 mana if we get anthems involved. Like the pinnacle would be, not the pinnacle of coolness. I'm just talking about like most powerful 3 mana value engine you could stick. But the pinnacle of power would just be like, okay, I am going to free cast a Ristic Study. And I think what you want to be doing for that to work is you probably want to be the person with interaction. You don't want to be the person slamming crazy threats. What you want to be doing is using 11th Doctor and Amy Pond to get you a bunch of moderately effective value engines without having to spend your interaction mana, and then you're just tabletop. If that's not what you want to be playing, that's okay. I would switch to a different suspend plan, because any suspend plan you do with the 11th Doctor is going to devolve into like, okay, well, if I do 11th Doctor, it has to be 11th Doctor plus a Voltron Amy Pond to make her do enough damage to get enough suspend counters off. And then I have to balance getting her Voltron, getting her protected as a Voltron target, and then drawing the scary things, because we also have to have the scary thing in hand. So I think it's just too much to balance if you're trying to use this guy to cast big terrifying shit. So like that we have protection. Suspend giver. Probably not. Probably suspend value. Yeah, see, like, this is the exact type of card I think would be a problem, because let's say you... Turn 4 is probably the earliest you're swinging your commander. Let's say turn 4 you suspend this. We can't get counters off in... Oh, it's choose not target. Maybe we can. I was worried this was going to have one of the interactions where Amy Pond could not take counters off a card the 11th Doctor had suspended that turn, because it wasn't going to be like a legal target at the time her ability went on the stack. But I believe choose gets around that. That is a little better, but we're still in the world where Aminadu's Augury was 8 turns out. Now it's 6 turns out. That's a ton of turns. Next turn, it's going to go down to 5 turns out, then 3 turns out. So even if we get to do this acceleration as nonsense, which I realize is the fun part of the deck, it's still like a 3-turn clock to cast a big value spell. And I think, honestly, we end up casting these spells slower than if you just ramped super hard. That's really unfortunate. That makes me very, very sad. So I think the things I would want to be doing would be like, if I just went for like down home reliable guy, this would be like about as expensive as I let it get. Because then it would be, I'm going to take it down to 3 counters on turn that I exile it. Next turn I'll take 1 off an upkeep. Amy Pond will get 2 out. Bam. I have a flying 5/3. I draw 2, discard. That hopefully sets up my next suspend. And then you just grind people out with just like, okay, I'm getting to cast. It is... I think the best way to think about this is Amy Pond and 11th Doctor is the Jeskai version of having Seedborn Mute. It's not a perfect comparison because you're not untapping every untap step, but it's like, this is how I get to play mana value worth of stuff on my turn that's going to develop my board, and I don't have to tap any of my mana, and I can hold up like instant speed, I'm going to path you. Instant speed, no. Got the shit, brother. I'm sorry, that's a little aggressive. I'm on your side. I want you to have fun playing this deck. So draw. Some of these are good. I do feel like this is too much. I think you probably have to... We want more permanents that draw, would be my main thing. Like, we want to be... We can have some valuable instants and sorceries, but the way this lines up in my head is I am always suspending a 3 to 5 mana value permanent. Because a 3 to 5 mana value permanent, if 11th Doctor and Amy Pond both connect, I get to play it that turn. If it's 3 mana, if it's 4 or 5 mana, I either get it on my next upkeep or on the next... No, 4 and 5 mana. Yeah, 4 and 5 mana are both on the next Amy Pond connection. 3 mana is on my next upkeep. We want stuff that can happen in 1 turn cycle. And there's like a lot of powerful shit that can do that. You know, you can just like flood the zone with stuff like Monastery Mentor. Monastery Mentor would also probably be good for this type of like realistically, your Drago control. You know, you can use the 11th Doctor as the way you get unblockable. You can use the like unblockability cantrips like blue and red Both have a lot of things that give like trample, give flying, give unblockability. I think you would want to lean blue for that. Want things like Shadow Rift, because then you go like, okay, my commander now can't be blocked for 1 mana. I'm going to draw a card, so I'm going card neutral, so I still have some type of value permanent to exile with them. And then I am always holding up some type of answer, and what I am hoping to suspend is not Call Forth the Tempest. It is, shit, I'd suspend Grazilax. I'm suspending Grazilax. I'm suspending... No. I might suspend this, man. We get a little bit freaky. You know, Vega the Watcher, all these like these draw engines, these advantage engines, I'm suspending them so I don't have to tap out for them, and I can keep all my mana up for this bullshit. So I think what I don't know if we'll have time to do a complete rebuild, but I can at least try to strip the stuff that I think is the most, pulling you away the most. I don't think this does enough. I kind of like Jeskai Ascendancy. I kind of like Whirlwind of Thought. I'm okay with Guild Artisan. I do think we need the money. Flaming Fist is solid. We can try Combat Research. We can try Aqueous Form. No. Nope. Nope. I like Distortion Strike. Don't love Expressive Iteration. Don't love that. Don't love that. We can probably get Mnemonic Deluge going because we're casting the copies, and I think we are trying to go for some type of like Jeskai plan. I'm just gonna cut the tutors for the time being. I don't think we need them. Mask of Memory should be fine, but I kind of want to lean away from stuff that is going to be totally reliant on Voltron, because like people, once we start doing anything good, our deck is going to have a massive failure point on getting either of our commanders killed. We might be able to protect one. It's going to be really hard to protect both, so we don't want to like set them up with like, oh yeah, I'm loading up this guy with my card draw, I'm loading up this guy with my damage. All you have to do is blow this one man shit smooth off, and then you've got me. Oh, that's really cute. Cutting the tutor just to do it. This is cute. Sure. Okay, creatures. Cards in hand. Nope. Monarchy. I don't know about our ability to defend the Monarchy, but I'll try to let it ride. Mother of Runes is great. Don't like this Narset. I don't like this Stella Lee. I kind of like Time Beetle. It's on the cuter end, but like we can do something with it. 40 lands is good. It's probably too much. We can probably end up cutting 3 to 4 by the end of this, but we're dead ass just gonna go Scryfall Advanced. Mana value less than or equal to 5. Mana value greater than or equal to 3. We just want some Jeskai shit that's good. And you're gonna be like, ah, that's a little boring. This is where you get to scroll through the Scryfall syntax and find the stuff that does make you happy. But I do think mechanically the way this is gonna function is you either have to cheat with infinite mulligans to make sure you get a hand that's set up with all the time travel nonsense you got to do, or you are Professor Deflecting SWAT, and if you wanted to go like bracket 4, you would shove it full of game changers and stick stuff like the One Ring. I don't think you have to stick the One Ring, but if you like Pillow Fort, you can shove Propaganda in. We can, I don't love Stormkill and Artist. I'm okay with Facebreaker. It's just anything that's like, hey, is this solid value? Like, is this solid value turn after turn after turn after turn? Great. That's what we're running. You can play stuff like Phyrexian Metamorph to copy your opponent's good stuff. They share a creature type. No, Time Lord, Doctor, and Human. So I don't think Kindred Discovery is going to do much for you. You're super down to stick Lauren. You're down to stick Goldspan Dragon. I'm trying to think about how we would line up for... Because we probably want to line up for some type of, like, eventual Spellslinger turn where we slam all of, like, the instants we've been sitting on to overrun people. You could try to use them to set up some type of pseudo Spellslinger deck like Veyran, or you could find a Bria Riptide Rogue to do this. Other creatures you control have prowess. Other creatures you control have prowess is a fucked up sentence. This also is going to give you unblockable anytime you cast a non-creature spell. So you would become like a jet. Holy shit, $44. What the fuck? Proxy this. Please tell me you're playing in a place that allows proxy. I cannot in good conscience argue you pay $44 for this, but that is the strategy of I'm going to accrue inevitable value through suspend. What you're not going to accrue is tentacle monsters. That's different suspend decks. Your suspend deck is probably reasonable shit. I found a watermelon at the Walmart. They marked it down too far, 2 cents. Supposed to be $2. Somebody moved the decimal place. Lucky me. That's you. You're watermelon guy. I don't think we Displacer Kitten. This guy lets you just exile from your hand. You don't get to draw. So doubling draws isn't really going to do anything for us. You know, you could stick more Pillow Fort stuff like Mangara, like Trouble in Pairs. But really all that has to happen is you have to stick some type of permanent, or these can be non-creatures. They don't have to be creatures. I'm just trying to think about how to get onboard value. But you have to do some number of stuff that's going to get you cards in the 3 to 5 mana range. Stop trying to play around with suspend synergies. They are just not good enough for what you want to do in the deck. You just want to run some okay cards that you're going to get a little bit ahead of schedule. And then I think the thing you are eventually like leading towards is I'm going to have Jeskai Ascendancy. I might have Bria. You might have Monastery Mentor. I think there's like one other card. Oh, there's not even any other cards. I could have sworn there was another thing that gave this. You could try to stick stuff like Elsha in the deck if you really want to lead into the spell slinging. And then you just got to be big up on interaction. Like, I think you're cool to... Oh, they're both 3 mana. You are not cool to land drop. So if you do want to ramp, I would mostly ramp on 2, because I would want to be like, on turn 3, I can play my commander, and I can Swords to Plowshares something, or I can counterspell something. And then on turn 4, I can play my other commander, and I can have the mana open to make my first commander unblockable. Like turn 4, I have 5 mana, because I played a mana rock and I hit 4 lands. I do 11. I've played 11th Doctor the turn before. I can cast like Shadow Rift, make him unblockable, swing him in, and then play Amy Pond to get ready for the next turn. And that is how I think you curve out to a more successful time overall. You could do the other overlords. Like, you don't have to do this pseudo prowess game plan I've been suggesting. You can just do like, hey, check out this guy. They played him in standard, and now he's fucking here, baby. You know, you can do shit like Battle Angels of Tyr. There's a million things. So I would really heavily suggest you go through this Scryfall syntax I have up here, because I don't know what specifically is going to catch your fancies. There are a lot of game plans this can support. Many of them are good. I think one of the few that this guy doesn't support is trying to do, I'm going to exile massive shit and then cheat it out ahead of schedule, because we're just putting too many time counters on them in the first place. You could go all in on cast from exile. You know, there's Flaming Tyrannosaurus as well. There's other Paradox shit. There's like Empress of Mars. There's Shadow of the Goblin that I think deals damage when you cast from exile. I don't love the exile pingers because we're probably not going to be casting stuff that's super expensive, and we're not going to be storming from exile. So I don't love things like this, but it's not impossible to try it. But what we got to be focused on is not cheating out the massive shit. So if anybody in the comments has a deck like this that does work with the massive shit and is not a Willy Wonka golden ticket situation with time travel cards, do let me know, because I wish the best for you, and I do hope this helps.